Good morning and welcome to South Church. My name is Harper Bairstow, and I, along with the rest of the 8th grade coming of age class, are happy to offer worship today. Under guidance from our 4 facilitators, Steve Barlock, Lisa Boudrieau, Daniel Eves, and Angela Newbury. We have spent the past 9 months considering our own values and beliefs and exploring our identities as Unitarian Universalists in this community. Today we will share our faith statements with you. It is so nice to have each of you here this morning. Whether you are visiting for the first time, attend as often as possible, or are joining us online. After worship, we all are invited to a social time with refreshments, which will take place outside on the portico. Kids and youth in grades 6 and older are encouraged to stay in the sanctuary for the full service today. After the time for all ages, kids in grades 5 and below can go downstairs for religious education classes. The music today is graciously offered by Johnny Pfeiffer, Susan Adams, and Rock Street. Chancel flowers are gifted today by Dot Mason. We hope you enjoy your time with us this morning. We will now hear some announcements.
Good morning. I'm Lauren Katz, and this is Sue Hubbard. And we're part of the Pocket Garden Tour, and it's in just a few weeks. Yeah! So, thank you. And so today we still need 3 volunteers for garden hosting Saturday morning and 3 volunteers for garden hosting Saturday afternoon. So if you've got 3 hours and want to sit in a gorgeous garden, now's the time to sign up. We are set for cookies, and we are selling tickets. And when you walk around Portsmouth, you will see these beautiful flags to find your way through 13 gardens, and we're just so excited to be doing that this year. So come visit us, and thank you so much for all the support so far. And there are plenty of other announcements and things to know about South Church. Just look in your order of service. Thank you.
Feel my heartbeat, beating to the rhythm of the freedom song, beating to the rhythm of the freedom song. When I say yes to the beat in me, when I say yes to the beat in me, I can set my spirit free. I can set my spirit free. When I feel my heartbeat, beating to the rhythm of the freedom song. When I say yes to the beat in me, I can set my spirit free. When I feel my heartbeat, beating to the rhythm of the freedom song. When I say yes to the beat in me, I can set my spirit free. When I feel my heartbeat, beating to the rhythm of the freedom song. When I say yes to the beat in me, I can set my spirit free.
Our sanctuary chalice will be lit this morning by our coming-of-age mentors. Each of us has had an adult member of the South Church community who came to some of our classes and walked beside us on this year-long journey. For those of you watching online, we invite you to light a chalice or candle along with us as I read these words from Jamie Dorer. As we light this chalice, we take those little sparks glowing within all of us and combine them to create this flame.
Now please rise in body or spirit and join me in reciting our mission statement found in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Boudrieau, and I am one of 4 facilitators for this group of 8th graders during their coming of age journey. It was a wonderful year, not only because the youth are fantastic, but because we were able to meet in person the entire year. What a gift that was. No Zooms. In Unitarian Universalism, the Coming of Age program, or COA, is a program for our 13 to 14-year-olds and takes place from October to June. Just like Catholicism has confirmation or Judaism has bar bat mitzvah, in Unitarian Universalism, our rite of passage tradition is coming of age. This is a time where we ask the youth to think deeply about who they are and what they believe. Some examples of topics covered this year were exploring values, why bad things happen, and God beliefs. During our meetings, we would have great discussions about all of these topics and more. And there were lots of fun games and snack times under the portico. There are many benefits of being a COA facilitator, and one of those is that our discussions in class provoke further explorations of our own personal spiritual journeys. As I was preparing to write this opening, I thought back to when I was 14 and preparing to receive the rite of confirmation through the Catholic Church. This was an angst-filled time for me because I felt quite uncertain about this commitment that my family and church community expected from me. One wonderful memory that stays with me, though, is of an afternoon retreat that my confirmation class took. I grew up in Peterborough, New Hampshire, and there was a beautiful Catholic retreat there. I remember that part of the day involved sitting in one spot on the grounds for a very long time. So I found my place to sit, an old stone wall, and sat down for my thinking time. I don't remember exactly what I thought about, but I do remember the way I felt. It was twilight in early spring. Maybe the time hadn't changed yet, and the sky was that purpley gray of twilight where the edges of things get blurred. The weather was chilly, and I could feel that cool air on my face. I observed the dark green of the evergreen trees, felt the roughness of the stone wall I sat upon, and heard the birds talking to each other. I remember this feeling of great peace and tranquility coming over me as I sat there. At that time, adults would have probably told me that this was a moment with Jesus, or the Holy Spirit with a capital H and capital S. To me, it was a moment of connection and harmony with the natural world that didn't need to have any particular religious overtones. Looking back on that experience, I would say now it was a spiritual moment, maybe even a holy one, but it still makes me anxious to put a capital H on holy, so I will stick with the little h. It was one of the first moments where I realized that connection with the natural world can be a spiritual one, and just as powerful as any that can be found in a church. This year, with this group of youth, has been a gift to me. One of my hopes for them is that at some point during the year, they had a moment of connection that made them feel like they were part of the bigger whole, and maybe even a moment of peace and tranquility, that they might call holy.
Lisa, great job. Thank you very much for those awesome opening words. My name is Steve Barlock, another one of the facilitators here for the Coming of Age program. In this program, the youth have deeply explored various topics to understand their own values and beliefs. As Lisa mentioned too as well, why bad things happen to good people, God beliefs, what happens when we die, what it means to be a UU, the role of art and music as they were developing their faith statements, and more. This is a process that all of us could benefit from doing periodically throughout our whole lives. To give you a tiny example of what it's like, we are now going to invite you to all briefly consider just one of the topics that we explored in the Coming of Age program. We'll tell you what it is, and we'll give you some time to think about that and your beliefs around it at this point in your life, and then we'll ask you to share it with someone next to you. Just one sentence that comes up for you when thinking about that particular topic. Please think specifically about what your own values and beliefs are. We're going to now deliver this particular topic through I guess has become somewhat of a ritual through the Coming of Age program during our fall retreat. So I'm going to introduce Dan Eves up on the balcony there. He's going to, let's say, airmail this topic in. Bring it on in, Dan. All right, who's the lucky? All right, I'm coming to you. Kathy, if you could open that up and just read us what the topic is going to be.
What is something you have faith in?
Wonderful, thank you very much. What is something you have faith in? Thanks, Kathy. So again, now think about this particular topic. We're going to do our opening hymn, and also we're going to do the story for all ages. And again, then we'll ask you to share those thoughts with somebody next to you at the conclusion of the story. But for now, please rise as you are able, and please join us in singing our opening hymn, number 188.
All right, so I'm going to need everyone's help this morning to sing this in a round. And the choir is going to get us started. And so listen, get the tune in your ears as we sing it once through. And then group one, we'll sing the first round. So when you see the number 2 in your hymnal, that's when you'll begin, and you'll sing the whole thing through, starting there. And I'll conduct you. And then group 2, when we get to number 3, we'll sing the whole hymn through, starting at the beginning, and we'll sing it all together 3 times. So listen to the choir once, and then I'll conduct you. Thank you.
Come,
While the storytellers are preparing their story, I'd like to invite all kids and anyone else who would like to hear this extra special story to come into this front space.
This is a coming-of-age story about a skittle. Once upon a time, there was a special place called the Land of Sweet Things. And in this land, the children were skittles and the adults were starbursts. This place was just like the world we live in, except everything was made of sweet things. The houses were made of gingerbread, covered with frosting and all the colors of the rainbow. There were beautiful forests of gumdrop trees, and in the distance you could see the snow-capped mountains. The air smelled sweet, and it was a lovely place to live. Well, this story is about one special skittle whose name was Steve. Steve had just turned 13 years old and was in 8th grade, and he was rocking a mullet. He loved doing all the same things you might like to do. Hanging out with his friends, playing video games, Candy Crush, playing his musical instrument, the licorice stringed guitar, and talking to his pet, the Swedish fish, Sven. Now, Steve had been feeling kind of out of sorts lately. He was 13 and all. He felt like he was growing up and wanted more freedom from his parents. He wanted to go out with his friends, to go to the movies, or to go eat a big burrito, or go downtown to get some ice cream, bubblegum flavor, of course. He felt like his parents saw him as a little kid, though, and wouldn't let him go do those things. Steve's parents saw his frustration, and that he just wasn't quite his usual self. They saw that he was getting older and starting to act more responsibly. He would help mow the yard. He fed Sven his fish food without being told. He even did his own laundry on occasion. They knew that Steve was growing up. Steve's parents approached Steve one day and said,
"Steve, we think you are ready to go on a journey, a coming-of-age journey."
What's that?
That's when you go on a journey and take time away from us, away from your friends, away from your community, away from your phone. It's a time when you get away to think. To think about who you were, who you are, who you would like to become. It is a tradition in the land of sweet things that our children, when they reach about your age, go on this journey.
So does this mean I have to, leave you and go out on my own?
Yeah, but we know you are ready. You will have a mentor, Mr. Clark Barr, who will guide you on this journey. And you'll only take a backpack of some food, a notebook, a pen. You can write your thoughts, and you can bring a water bottle. And of course, you will need your walking stick, because they are very helpful on a journey. Now, this isn't any simple walking stick. This one glows. As you proceed on your journey, your simple walking stick will start to light up once you start thinking about deep ideas that will help you grow and enrich your life. You know that you will be ready to come home when your walking stick is fully glowing.
Steve was both excited and nervous about his journey. Mr. Clarkbar was a longtime friend of his family's, so he knew he would have a mentor that would be a good guide to him. He went and packed his bags and left that day. He walked over roads paved with mini Reese's peanut butter cups out of the land of sweet things. He walked a long way and became tired. Night had started to fall. He and Mr. Clarkbar made a fire and rested by it. He looked up at the sky, at the millions of stars. He thought about his childhood. He thought about how amazing the universe is. He had even heard that we all contain a little bit of stardust in us, and how no two Skittles or starbursts are exactly the same. Suddenly, his walking stick began to glow. Not all of it, just part of it. Steve was a little scared by this.
Steve, follow light of staff, it guide you.
Steve guessed he was on the right journey. The next day, he continued walking. He sat down to take a rest by the ocean. As he was sitting on the beach, eating an apple, because you do need to eat fruit every now and again, a piece of coral floated up onto the beach. He looked at it and thought of the fish and animals that swim around the coral, and how the coral and the fish depend on each other to survive. It's a community just like his community, the land of sweet things. We are all part of a community, and it's our responsibility to take care of it, thought Steve. As he thought these things, he noticed his walking stick was glowing halfway up the staff. He looked toward his mentor, who nodded sagely. Steve was becoming more confident that this was the right path. The next day, he continued walking. He reached the Pop Rock Mountains and began to climb them. He was getting kind of tired on his climb and started pondering how well a Coke would go with this view. But just before he could stop and take a rest, his foot slipped, and he slid part way down the mountain. While he was falling down the mountain, he had dislodged a rock, and the rock landed right next to him and split open. Now, he had been uninjured, but the rock, having split open, he looked down and saw that inside this normal-looking rock were all these beautiful purple crystals. It was a geode. This rock and the purple crystals made him think of how all the Skittles and Starbursts kind of look the same. They're all kind of fruity flavors, but they are all truly individual and different on the inside. Sometimes it can take time to know who you are. You can't judge a Skittle or a Starburst by what you see on the outside. Steve's staff started to glow 3/4 of the way of its length. He was no longer scared and knew for certain he was on the right path.
Wise youth, Steve, you become.
Well, Steve knew that his journey was almost over. His staff was already 3/4 of the way lit, so he continued walking. He walked and walked, and it was a gorgeous warm day. And he was getting kind of hot, so he decided to take a swim in the rainbow stream, cool off. After he laid on the bank of the stream for a while and dried off, he looked over. He was getting ready to go. And he saw a rock. Now, it wasn't just any rock, and it wasn't a geode. He picked it up, And on this rock, there were these beautiful swirly patterns. Looked just like a seashell. And Steve knew that this was a fossil. This imprint or footprint could have been a prehistoric creature. How cool was this? The fossil made Steve think about what he would like to do with his life, what kind of mark he wanted to leave, and what he could do in his community to make it better. And with that thought, his staff glowed fully in all its glory.
Steve, journey is done, but also not done. Journey continue forever.
Steve and Mr. Clarkbar made their way back to the land of sweet things. Steve hugged his parents, which is hard because Skittles and Starbursts have very short arms. They sat around the fire and talked about Steve's journey. Mr. Clarkbar was also there for support. Steve's parents congratulated him on his courage in facing his journey and loved to hear about all of his experiences.
Steve's parents. Steve no longer Skittle, but no Starburst. Steve, Skyburst now. Dear one, welcome.
Steve knew that this journey he had taken, though it made him nervous to be away from home, also made him learn about himself in a whole new way. He was grateful for the insights of the stardust, coral, geode, and fossil had given him. And now, I'm giving this to Steve. Steve.
Yes. I don't think I'm Steve anymore, but so now, youth, we will sing you downstairs for your normal religious education classes.
Each month, the money collected in the Offertory is used in multiple ways. One half goes to support the financial needs of our church. The other half is shared with a local nonprofit that is doing excellent work for our community. These organizations are nominated and chosen by the congregation. For the month of June, our shared plate organization is Seacoast Outright. The Offertory will now be gratefully received.
Everyone remember this? So, our topic that we were going to discuss, which we'll do right before Reverend Susan's prayer and meditation, what is something you have faith in? So if we could just take a couple minutes and, with the person next to you or behind you, whatever makes sense, and just talk about that for just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to use my outdoor voice. Let's just take a couple moments before I lead you in an interactive prayer, just to be so grateful for the creativity of our musicians, our singers, our story writers, our actors, actresses, and especially our youth. Let's just be so, so grateful. I would ask this morning that you hold Hillary Scott in your prayers. Her father is ill, and she's down in Massachusetts with him, and I have spoken to her, and she's doing okay, but she said prayers would be appreciated. And when we're going to get ready to light the candles of joy and concern, please hold her and anyone else in your prayerful thoughts. I was saying to Jen that the thing I have faith in is that together, using our creativity, using our love, compassion, and unlocking the potential, that we will one day have a beloved community to enter these youth into. So I have a body prayer. It's an active prayer that I would invite you into with me. I would invite you to stand if you're willing and able, or if not, you may do it from your seat. And we'll do it a couple times through. So I'm going to ask you to move your hands out to the skies. And we wait and we receive. And then one hand and the other hand over your chest. We hold close. And then one hand stretched palm down. Shake your hand and we let go. We let go. And the other hand, palm down, and we let go. And I would invite you to repeat that with me. Hands out to the side. We wait and we receive. Feel the love and energy just flow into your hands. And then one hand and the other. We hold close one another, our community, the hope, faith, and love that's here. And then one hand, we let go of stress and struggle and pain. We let go of loss, of concern. And then we bring our palms together and bow slightly. Blessings, blessings on all of us. May it be so. And now, as you would care to, I would invite you to come forward and light a candle of joy or concern, knowing that you are not alone, that there are cards in the pews that you can write your concerns on so that we can hold you in special care. But come forward in silence and light a candle. Please know that you're held in love and care, and if you have any burning need to talk with anyone, don't leave here without talking to myself or any of our pastoral associates. And if you have a joy to share, share it during our fellowship time. May it be so.
Hi, my name is Magnolia Redmond. I have spent the last 9 months considering and contemplating my beliefs and values. It was really a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I learned a lot about myself and what matters most to me. I wanted to share my thoughts through a piece of art. I chose to make a collage, which is the one over there, because I like the way it's put together. It reflects my life. I like how it is similar to a puzzle, but the pieces sort of find each other on their own. My collage contains words, colors, and memories, just like my life does. I created a big infinity symbol made out of different colors. I made this because I believe that change is always happening around us. There's no avoiding it and there's no stopping it. Your life will constantly change and there's nothing you can do about it. When change happens, you might think the situation couldn't possibly get better, but you have to try and look for something good, like a silver lining. The outcome of what seemed bad will eventually become better. It might take a little while for something good to appear, but it'll come. I like to compare change to surfing. In the ocean, the water is always moving in one direction until there's another force that changes it, like a wave. The wave comes and interrupts the flow of the water. It's the opposing force that makes it different. And then there's the time when I'm on my board, surfing toward the beach, trying to duck under the wave so the water washes over my head. But it all happens so fast, and before I know it, I'm back out in the ocean, waiting for the next wave to come. There was a lot of change that happened over the course of finding and catching just one wave. This is what change means for me. I believe in equality and diversity. I believe in science and education. I believe that it is important to be different and unique and stand out from the crowd. I believe in staying true to yourself and your own values. You should do what matters to you and do what you love. The best person that you could possibly be is yourself. Never try to be someone you're not. If you're ever stuck in a difficult situation or you're struggling with something, just remember to be yourself because your mind and your heart will lead you in the right direction. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Malkias, and this is my faith statement. I believe I am an agnostic because although I believe that there is a higher power, I am not sure it can be defined as just one person or being. One of the reasons I don't believe in a God is because there isn't any proof that God ever existed. They're just words in a book saying that something existed. My personal beliefs are similar to those of the Unitarian Universalist Church. I believe that everyone was created equal, everyone is the same and should be treated fairly and equally as we would want to be treated. I believe that everyone should have their voices heard. That's why I always try to be a good listener. I dream of a more peaceful world. I try to be kind to others in order to help achieve this goal. My faith community has given me a better understanding of life. Cooking food for a food bank with the youth group was fun, but it also helped me serve the needs of the less fortunate in my community. I hope I can continue to help others in the future. I'd like to thank my mentor, Chris, and the youth group facilitators for supporting me in the coming of age class. I'd also like to thank my parents for loving me and supporting me unconditionally.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maeve McEachern. For my faith statement, I decided to create an art piece. I find art to be the best way to express something that you can't quite put into words, and to have your thoughts flow out of you even if you haven't actually thought them yet. In this piece, one of the most important things I tried to represent was change. Change is one thing that never truly changes. It is something that we can choose for ourselves, and something that may just happen around us. Everything changes, the seasons, the cycles of nature, who we are, and what we believe. I tried to illustrate this with the different colors and the flows between them. Similar to change, it's important to me to have balance, literal balance, I'm a dancer, as well as balance in yourself and your life. To me, that means living in the moment and still being prepared, and knowing what you want to be and being willing to try new things. In the center of the painting, there is a tree. This tree represents the interconnectedness of all living things and cycles, through its branches and roots. I believe that we are all connected through our choices and the things that lead us to this moment. I believe that we all work together to create the future, yet we are all our own individual minds and beings. In the bottom left corner, there are leaves to represent the importance of taking care and appreciating the earth. The earth is our home, and we all need to treat it and all of nature with respect. Just like the earth, I believe that every person deserves respect and equality. We all deserve to be treated with kindness and supported for who we are, and for we are all equally human, no matter our background, belief, or identity. The person I painted may seem unfinished and imperfect. I did this because I believe we are all always evolving, growing and learning about who we are, yet that is still beautiful. I also used the contrasting colors to represent the different emotions we all experience. Often I find that we really only let ourselves feel happiness, but we are so much more complex. I think we should let ourselves feel and accept every emotion that flows through us. Something I also believe is important that I couldn't quite figure out how to paint was that I believe we all have the right to search for what makes us happy. We all have the right to find and search after the things that make us feel alive and whole. I'm not sure what I believe about a god or many gods yet. I think I believe strongly in the possibility of one being out there, but haven't confirmed myself that it is true. Now, as part of coming of age, we had to sit alone in the woods for many hours. During my experience, a dragonfly came and landed right on my knee. It stayed there for a good while, long enough for me to name it and study the blues and greens on its back. That is why I included a dragonfly, a reminder to stay connected and listen to myself just like I did that day.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ella Carr. I believe that out of everyone, the person we have the most control over is ourselves. We have the ability to make our own decisions, so we should take advantage of that and be the best person possible. We should be selfless. Eloy Wiesel once said, "Indifference only benefits the aggressor." I believe this is true, and that when we see certain injustices take place, we should be empathetic and help those in need. I'm not sure what I believe about God. I think that we're our own God, and we can make decisions for ourselves. Right now, I believe that the most we can do is be truthful and authentic. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amelia Murphy. It took me a long time to get going writing my faith statement. I wasn't exactly excited about the coming of age process from the get-go. In fact, I dragged my feet to class every Sunday morning. It took a coming of age retreat and a lot of encouragement from my parents to realize what a gift this experience is. Also, through encouragement from my loved ones and some self-exploration, I'm starting to find what I believe. I clearly don't have it all figured out. I don't know what I believe about God, and I don't know why bad things happen. What I do know is that my future is up to me, and my family and community will always be there to support me. I believe in living life to its fullest, and I believe in the power of people. I believe that music can help and move us all, and I believe that I should always work to improve myself. I believe in the strong bond my sister and I share. I believe change is good, and I believe we are all equal. I'm so grateful for the people who guided me to where I am and for the experiences that have shaped me. I'm looking forward to whatever comes next.
Hello, my name is Harper Bairstow. I wanted to share some lessons I've learned through 8th grade and through my life, and how those lessons have shaped me. At the beginning of my 8th grade year, I got placed in classes that none of my friends were in. At this time, because of COVID, we had lunch in our own homerooms, and anytime we were outside, we were all separated from each other. I was all alone, and I had a very hard time with that. I felt lonely, angry, and sad, and I saw all the things that my friends were doing in their classes together, and it felt like the end of the world. I ended up making my own friends and being in a new friend group. I was just so happy to be a part of something. I then realized that those people and that sort of group wasn't something that I wanted to be a part of. I felt left out and still felt alone, even when I was surrounded by people. I was exhausted and sick of putting on this fake smile every day, and it took a lot of guts just to leave my new group. I had to do it carefully, and the last thing I wanted to do was start drama. Not starting drama in that group was a very difficult thing to do. I made it out, and I started hanging out with my friends from other teams at recess because the COVID rules started to lighten up. Then I got sucked into toxic friendships again and again and again, until now. When 2022 started, my priorities shifted a lot. My priorities shifted from being part of a friend group to taking care of myself and finding people that truly connect with me. I'm now in stable friendships, and I'm learning how to be one of my own best friends too. That is a lifelong journey for sure. Through last fall and this past winter, I learned so many valuable lessons that have shaped my beliefs. I've done so much research about religion and trying to find one that I fit into. It was then that I realized that I don't need to put a label on my beliefs. I need to do what I feel is best and listen to my gut. I believe in Mother Nature. I believe in crystals. I also have a bit of an obsession. I believe in my instinct. I believe in science. I believe in the power of kindness, but most importantly, I believe in myself. I believe in God, and I know that there is a greater power than ourselves. I'm learning to love the person that I'm becoming and learning to accept situations as they come. One of the most important things that I will always live by is that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel stuck. It's okay to feel angry. And it's okay to feel all of the feelings. Please rise again for hymn number 1003 in the teal hymnal.
We're going to sing this in parts with the choir. The choir is going to get us started, and please stay on number 1. So get it in your ear with us, and then I'll cue you in. And then the choir is going to break off and sing 2 and 3. So you get a chance to hear how the 3 mix together, and then I'll cut you off.
We good? All right, I invite the youth to please come down and form a line. So as part of the tradition of coming of age, at the end of the completion of all the fun, the mentors present the mentees with a chalice necklace as a symbol of our faith. So I ask now the mentors to please line up across from their mentee. You can get a little closer if you want. Great. You may present. Thank you.
We extinguish the chalice with the words that we have used to close our class time together every week. We go now in peace, knowing that when we return, we will find friends.
I'm Angela Newbury. I have had the honor to be one of the facilitators for this group. As a benediction today, I'm going to read some excerpts from the book Maybe, The Story of the Endless Potential in All of Us by Kobi Yamada. You are the only you that has ever been and ever will be. You have so much to offer. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try. See as many things as you can see. It is on journeys discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long. Maybe you will speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Maybe you are here to help in ways only you can. There will be struggles and fears. You may fall, you may fail. You will get back up. You will rise. There is more inside you than you know. Maybe you are just getting started. You have everything it takes to do big things. Maybe, just maybe, you will exceed your wildest dreams.
Check. Today, I had a rough day at school. A mean kid told me that my shoes weren't cool. A teacher got mad when I broke a rule. I got an answer wrong and I felt a fool. But it's all good, cause my friends are nice. My kicks are fresh and I wear what I like. In my opinion, I'm cool as ice. And I know how to rock a mic. I'm looking on the bright side. It can storm all day, but the sun come out and the clouds roll away. On the bright side, without rain, there'd be no wildflowers, that would be a shame. Negativity is a ball and chain. I got positive pictures in my mind's frame. In my life, I can deal with pain. Looking on the bright side is the name of the game. Bright side. Looking on the bright side. I'm looking on the bright side. I'm looking on the bright side. I'm looking on the bright side.
It's Sunday morning, the house is a mess. The kids are late for church and I'm still not dressed. I must confess, I'm not always at my best, but when I look up in the mirror, I'm still impressed. It's hard for anyone who's doing so many jobs. I'm like an engineer working so many knobs, but the song is good. The sound is tight, and the kids are gonna be alright.
I'm looking on the bright side. It can storm all day, but the sun come out and the clouds roll away. On the bright side, without rain, there'd be no wildflowers, that would be a shame. Negativity is a ball and chain. I put positive pictures in my mind's frame. In my life, I can deal with pain. Looking on the bright side is the name of the game. Bright side. I'm looking on the bright side. I'm looking on the bright side. I'm looking on the bright side. Check dragon. This world I'm coming up in can make me scared. It feels like sometimes that people don't care about the planet. They don't treat each other fair. I won't stand it. I won't stop and stare. I'm gonna make it better. We're gonna save the earth. I'm not stacking cheddar. I'm sharing all I'm worth. All this bad stuff can be reversed if you're looking at the best, not the worst. I'm looking on the bright side. It can storm all day, but the sun come out when the clouds roll away. On the bright side, without rain, there'll be no wildflowers. That would be a shame. Negativity is a ball and chain. I got positive pictures in my mind frame. In my life, I can deal with pain. Looking on the bright side is the name of the game. Bright side. South Church looking on the bright side. Whole world looking on the bright side. Everybody looking on the right side.